Real quick before we get into this video, I wanted to mention that this channel is less than 300 subscribers away from 20K, so if you are not subscribed, your subscription would be much appreciated to get me to that milestone. Anyways, on with the video. Okay, so I was originally planning on putting our play-in game versus the Grizzlies on top of the first round series versus the Clippers in this video, and I say on top of it because, well, spoiler alert, we beat the Grizzlies, but then I put together the edit of the Clippers series, and well, I didn't want this video to be 35 minutes long. I kind of had to cut the Grizzlies game, though I will include the footage of the game while I talk about the Clippers just so you can at least see it, but the game wasn't particularly interesting. While we did win by just 8, we had control of the game the whole way through. Luke had a 30-point triple-double. Josh showed up for the Grizzlies, but no one else really did, so yeah. If I didn't cut this, it would have been like 8 minutes longer, so this is what you get instead. I'm sure some of you wouldn't mind that, but I do. But with the Grizzlies out of the way, we get the pleasure of, for the third year in a row, facing the Clippers in the first round. I'm sure they're no less excited to see us. Now, being that these teams have played 13 playoff games versus each other with a relatively similar roster over the last 2 years, there's a good amount of history to base the game plan around. Let's look at our offense first. Last year in particular, Luka's ball dominance and really our lack of ability offensively outside of Luka really reared its ugly head. As Porzingis played terribly, it became Luka's task alone to create offense not only for himself but others. It is my hope that John Wall, being in Porzingis' place this time, can aid that problem because he too can create plays for his teammates as well as for Luka. Luka would get pretty burnt out by the fourth quarter of the games in that series, and as a result the offense would go as Luka went and would start to crumble in the fourth quarter as he started to crumble. This time around, I'd like to keep Luka less involved early and really have John be more of the primary initiator, and then unleash a still semi-fresh Luka on the Clips for the fourth quarter to go for the kill. I'm of course also hoping that the only other offensive bright spot from last year's series, Tim Hardaway Jr., has a good series versus them. I never really have to game plan for Tim because he just kind of finds a way to be great, so I'm hoping that that, as well as Luka having to shoulder less ball handling duties, should give us the best offense versus the Clippers that they have seen versus us to date. Now, as for the defense, one thing that worries me out of the gate is that the Clippers now have Serge Ibaka manning the middle. The reason it worries me is it's going to pull Jackson Hayes out of the paint, which will give Kawhi, PG, and Reggie Jackson free lanes to the rim. So I'm probably going to just bite the bullet and allow Serge to shoot, because at the end of the day, I'll take an open Ibaka 3 over a late contested layup from Kawhi, PG, or whoever else. But it's a situation that certainly has potential to bleed points if Ibaka is hitting his shots. As for our one-on-one matchups, I think we're fine with Kawhi because Dorian Finney-Smith or Maxi Kleber will always be in the game and they're both solid enough on him. But PG, I'm gonna have to go with John Wall for that matchup because though he's smaller, I expect him to be a better option than Luka, and I definitely don't love it. PG could have moments where he's essentially just shooting over him because of the height difference. Also, Reggie Bullock will get the PG assignment when Wall is off of the floor. Don't love that one though. I'm gonna put Luka on Marcus Morris because he can match the size, and I'm sure Morris won't get into some dumb fight because of that. He'd never do such a thing. Such a nice man. Also, Reggie Jackson is being guarded by Tim Hardaway Jr., which is yet another thing that I don't love. But if Reggie Jackson and Serge Ibaka end up going off, but PG and Kawhi don't, I'm more than happy with that trade-off. But I think I've said all I need to. Now it's time to play the games, and yeah, this series is a doozy. Okay, so this series ended up being really goddamn long, so I'm gonna need you guys to bear with me in terms of dealing with the length of this series and also just my commentary. I'm going to try to get it all in one fell swoop. Live commentary, or I guess post, it's not live, but what would you call it? Like post-game commentary is not easy, and it's something that I'm trying to get better at, but it's probably not going to be great spanning over 20 minutes of 2K footage. The footage for this series overall that I recorded ended up being almost 3 hours, and that was with me simulating like 2 or 3 games of this series. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's a long series, let's just put it that way. And that definitely shows in the length of the footage, and I don't know where I'm going with this. Right now, it's a relatively close game. As you can tell, we're getting through the first half. I tried to do the first halves of pretty much every game that I edited as quick as possible. Luka is having a good game, and he really starts going off from mid-range at this portion of the footage. But I did want to mention a nice putback there by Jackson Hayes after he opened the game with that really great dunk. So that's 2 great dunks in this game. The schedule with this series, I'm actually going to give it somewhat of a schedule. This series is going to be coming out every other day from here on out. I wanted to do that from the very beginning, but to be completely honest, I've not been entirely amazing mentally lately, and that has resulted in my main channel videos and stuff like that being held back, and when that happens, I have to prioritize that over this, but I'm back on top of shit, at least I'd like to think I am, so that should hopefully mean every other day from here on out. So yeah. Anyways, with all of that out of the way, Luka, good defensive play on Reggie Jackson, and then off of this inbound play, we give the layup up to Paul George. So all of that for nothing. Luka finally played defense, and it was for nothing. That's not even a fair thing to say, because Luka is a pretty damn solid defensive player. He's not great, but he's not bad for sure. I'd say there's some times where he borders on good. I get absolutely crossed out of my shoes right there by Paul George with Trey Burke. Trey is not a huge part of the rotation, but he is part of it to some extent. Losing the paint defense there with John Wall. And speaking of paint defense, there was none of it right there for Kawhi Leonard. But this three-pointer right there by Luka was really big with about 2 minutes remaining in this game. That play right there should have been a nice dunk, but then Serge Ibaka just completely swats that. And then John Wall in the post over Reggie Jackson. Even though there's not that much of a height difference, there's definitely a strength difference, and he's able to utilize it there to his best advantage. Wall with the steal and the assist right there. Wall really coming through in the clutch in this game. That wasn't clutch because I just threw the ball off of the bottom of the backboard. But pass to Marcus Morris from Kawhi. That shot does not go in. Marcus Morris's jump shot in 2K is tragically awful. And then with Paul George on Luka here, nice drive inside for the dunk on Marcus Morris. I really, really dislike Marcus Morris because of the way that he acted in the series last year. And he's done it before, but it was really bad last year. And I look forward to scoring on him plenty in this series. That's why I had that little dig on him early in the commentary. But to close the game right here, huge three over Serge Ibaka. I was struggling to call the isolation, but that step back makes it a 5-point game, and then the steal off of the inbound and the free throws for Dorian Finney-Smith. That is going to be game 1. They're not coming back from 7 with that time difference. So yeah, pretty damn good home opening game. 41 points from Luka. As for our game plan of like not really going to him too early, I don't think we did that strictly, but we also were not relying on him too heavily for sure. So kind of half and half achieved that game plan there. And then simulating the game, we get absolutely mollywopped in game 2, and then simulating game 3, it is relatively close in the 4th quarter, and I decided to hop in. You'll notice now that the camera angle changed, there was like a 3-day difference between when I recorded this game versus when I recorded game 1. And in that 3-day difference, I had played a lot of my career on this camera angle, so it became jarring to not play on that camera angle anymore. I've seen a lot of people asking for me to change the camera angle, but this one, I don't know, it feels smaller in the edit. It's fine playing the game, but it feels really small, like how tiny the hoop is on the screen. So I don't know. Let me know what you think of it. This is what I'm going with for now. I might change it for later, but yeah. Luka with the 3 off of the screen right there. Very rarely I'm actually open enough to just do a straight up pull up without a step back or some moving animation or whatever. But turnover there by Jackson Hayes when I probably could have just gone up with that shot, and then Kawhi gets the foul by Reggie Bullock. Reggie is in the game because Tim Hardaway Jr. is not in the game, because 2K still has the issue where when you simulate a game, like everybody and their mother has fouled out. That was not a good play, and a very pivotal play. I wasn't paying enough attention there. I probably should have given that more weight than I did. But Serge Ibaka blocks the step back from Luka Doncic right there, and that would have been a big shot. But we have another opportunity here with it being just a 2-point game. And Serge Ibaka once again plays great defense. So I really, like, Ibaka got around that screen and was just fully able to recover with Luka on that switch, and power to him. He just played some great defense on 2 possessions and was the reason they won that game. So I can't even get too, well, I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I can't get too mad. What I'm not happy about is early in this game, they are scoring a lot of points. We are not scoring a lot of points, and I don't know how familiar you are with basketball, but the prerogative is to score and then to have your opponent score less. So when that's not the case, things are not going well. But a couple of 3-pointers later, and we're back in this game. I only edited a few of them in because there were quite a bit of them in a row here. You see this one here by Tim Hardaway Jr. But we do get back in this game. The pump fake right there gets Terrence Mann leaning a little bit, and then the nice spin move for the layup. Spin moves are a little bit different this year. I feel like the likelihood of getting stripped is more based on attributes than it ever was before, which is nice. I feel like I get stripped way more with John Wall than I do with Luka Doncic, and I feel like there's a reason for that. Leaving Marcus Morris wide open for 3 right there, that's not always going to have the best result. And then a turnover there by John Wall, and this game really started to turn the tides in the Clippers' favor here in this stretch of basketball where Luka was not playing. You see the cold symbol by John Wall? That's because I got about 4 turnovers in a row with him, and that resulted in a lot of easy buckets for the Clippers, or a lot of easy transition opportunities. But you see here now, we get Luka in the game, and suddenly offense is coming easy. It's not a coincidence. John Wall is fine, but he's not Luka. And, you know, I think John Wall actually brings quite a bit to the table for what he is, and the fact that we really only got him here on a salary move, and he's the 2nd best player on the team. But there's a clear difference between the offense when he is in charge and when Luka is in charge, and in particular when Luka is off of the floor, period. So that is worthy of note. But John Wall also allows plays like that to happen, where Luka can get more catch-and-shoot opportunities, where that's a small part of his offense in real life. So I don't know why I went on a whole tangent there about that. But the problem of Luka being too heavily relied upon, and that kind of being contingent with our offense, is still a problem here. It's not as bad as it was, but nasty step back there by Luka. I forgot that one was in the footage. But even if that is the case, Luka is actually so damn good that it can be a difference maker, and for the 3rd year in a row now, we're giving a contender a real pain in the ass of a series. So it's definitely not like it's not like it's a huge deal, but it's something that I think needs to be figured out in order for us to be a championship level team. And as you can see, we didn't win that game, and if you were paying attention to the scoreboard, that means we are down 3-1. So that is not good, right? As I'm talking about it not being a big deal that our offense relies too much on Luka, I'm talking about it being a problem, and then we go down 3-1. But Luka with that mid-range pull-up off of the pump fake, and then John Wall on this break, missing that layup off of the Serge Ibaka contest, but Jackson Hayes is there for the follow-up putback. Luka with the step-back 3. It's always so damn satisfying when those work. They don't always do, but when they do, it's a very enjoyable experience. Maxi Kleber hitting the first jump shot that I have hit with him in a game of 2K. That's not a joke. He just very rarely actually gets open looks, so he still spaces the floor, so I'm not mad about it. But very rarely do I actually get any shots with Maxi Kleber outside of layups at the basket. Nice fadeaway there by Luka on the baseline. Nice kick out to Tim Hardaway Jr. Shot clock going down right here. I had to take a long fadeaway over Rondo, but it still goes in. Luka's fadeaway is a little bit too nice in this game. I might actually go and mess with the attributes there, because I think he has like a 90 something. He's pretty good at post fades, but that's a lot. Speaking of nasty step backs, sending Kawhi Leonard flying and hitting a step back out of the corner, pretty fucking great. Pull up there after he loses Kawhi on the pump fake right there from mid-range. Luka is definitely having himself yet another good game. John Wall gets Reggie Jackson stumbling with the crossovers and gets the and one. Luka with the drive and the dish down to Maxi Kleber. So right now our offense is working very well. The drive here by John Wall, and another drive here by John Wall. That paint is open off of that fantastic screen from Jackson Hayes. Speaking of Jackson Hayes, he gets the offensive rebound right there, and then John Wall wide open for three. John Wall having currently one of the best games, if not the best game that I've ever had with him in 2K, so that's pretty damn nice. Right here, the crossover, the dive, and the kick to Tim Hardaway Jr. in the corner. That was a fantastic play. Ignore the update required thing in the corner. Unfortunately, 2K is garbage, and you have to just deal with that being on the screen for the entire game from here on out. So that's lovely. Nice spin, fadeaway jump shot there by Luka. This fantastic flip around his head pass to Trey Burke for the mid-range catch and shoot. Would have been nice if it was a three, but hey, I'll still take it. Dorian Finney-Smith with a series of nice moves to get himself the layup over Serge Ibaka, but as I mentioned in the game plan, Serge Ibaka getting some open jump shots just from the fact that they might not be sticking out to him on the perimeter there, even though I don't believe Jackson Hayes was in the game for that, but whatever. Point remains, Serge Ibaka got a decent amount of open looks, but he didn't exactly kill us in the series either. John Wall with that finish, which was nice, but you may or may not have noticed that the Clippers are starting to get themselves back into this game. But dunk right there by John Wall. It's really starting to feel like John Wall is the catalyst in this team doing as well as they are in this game. Another play right there gets him the wide open lane, although that was some pretty god-awful defense. But here spins off Reggie Jackson. I don't know if John Wall could do that when he was at his athletic peak. So I don't know about that one, 2K, but I don't know. I'll take it. John is just absolutely going the fuck off in this game. Pass down to Jackson Hayes. Should have been an open layup, but then he fumbled the pass, and I went up with it because I was stubborn and wanted to get that. And then, shit. It felt like we were in control of the game, and then suddenly the Clippers are back on top, and then Luka's missing this fadeaway, but at least Jackson Hayes is there for the putback. And a short amount of time now to go. Paul George with this drive inside, and it should have been a clean block by Hayes, but then Maxi Kleber gets the foul on him. So it's now a 1-point game. I'm going to call a timeout, as you do. And then, yeah, so that's not good either. But off of this inbound, I felt like I played pretty good defense covering the passing lane, and then suddenly he just passes it through Luka Doncic. John Wall with the spin shoots it over Marcus Morris, and then that luckily goes in because that's really a 50-50 ball there. And then we win the game by 1 point off of the Luka Doncic steal and the John Wall finish for the layup. Just a great finish of that game to prevent us from losing the series. The entire season was on the line with that John Wall shot, and that's the first time I've had player of the game with anyone besides for Luka Doncic. John Wall had 34 points on 13 for 19 shooting. Just a fantastic performance from John. As I was talking earlier about how much better Luka is, obviously he is, but Luka was 11 for 27 in that game. And we definitely needed John to step up in the one game where Luka wasn't just immaculate. But now, we're in Game 7. It's win or go home. And we have an opportunity to come back 3-1 versus the Clippers. And we would not be the first team to do that. After Luka starts the game off with these 2 3-pointers, I got a second foul with him, so I had to take him out of the game, and literally nothing interesting happened for the entirety of that first quarter after that. But going into this second quarter, I decided I was going to attack relentlessly with Luka. And as for the reason why I decided I would attack relentlessly with him, well, I mean, it's Game 7 and it's Luka Doncic. So screw all that resting him for the fourth quarter shit. I am just going for it. And you'll notice that possession after possession, it is Luka bucket, pump fake on Kawhi, pull up from mid-range, Luka bucket. After this miss here by Zubac, Hayes gets it to John, who gets it to Luka. Pump fake, Paul George jumps, Luka bucket. That was a lot of points in a row for him. He has 23 now, and all but 6 of that was in this quarter. Luka bucket over Paul George. Luka with Terrence Mann on him, a little bit too small. That's a Luka bucket. And then pump fake on Terrence Mann, takes him with the step back mid-range shot, Luka bucket, and that was a 23-point second quarter for Luka Doncic, but he's not done yet. Yet another Luka bucket. But Kawhi Leonard gets snatch blocked by Jackson Hayes, which, as I said the last time, I'd freak out if that animation wasn't way too prevalent in this game. But then Luka bucket off of the spin move. So Luka is having an immaculate game, but our defense, on the other hand, we're not really slowing down the Clippers too much on the other end. While Luka is matching them shot for shot, we are kind of falling into that trap once again. Immaculate step back by Luka there. I should have set that up better. But we're falling into the thing where Luka is scoring a lot, but then the Clippers are a better team, and that's kind of evident in this. But as of right now, Luka is going off so much that it's not the case. Like, another dunk, like, the paint is just wide open. He has 46 points and it's the third quarter. I had to sub him out because I just played like the entire second quarter with him on top of getting him back for most of the third. But when I decide to sit him, as you may or may not expect, game starts to turn in the Clippers' favor. Bullock misses that wide open shot right there. And then on the break, Rondo to Terrence Mann. I should have stepped up on that shot, and I just kind of stared at him. And actually watching back the gameplay for this Game 7, I kind of just watched the shooter shoot a couple of times here. And it was kind of puzzling watching it back. It was definitely not my brightest moments for a couple of these clips here. But Luka diving inside the paint again. Of course, if Zubac is out on him in the perimeter, that's easy money because he's just going to blow by him, and there's going to be nobody in the paint because Zubac's out on the perimeter looking lost. But step back three, Luka Doncic from a familiar spot if you're remembering Luka versus the Clippers in the playoffs, especially over Reggie Jackson. And Luka, or that was actually John Wall, that gets a chase down block, but follow up by Kawhi Leonard on the offensive rebound. 2-point game now, 3 minutes remaining. Luka, top of the key. Paul George with the late contest, so that's a 3-pointer for him. John Wall now with the ball. I shouldn't have taken that shot, but then there's a green release, so clearly I should have. But that's what I was talking about there, just looking at the shooter. I stepped up a little, or stepped away too much with John. But speaking of not playing defense, Luka wide open in the corner. The guy has 50-something points, and you're going to leave him that open? Then I also left him open, so I can't even talk shit. But yeah, that was not an open shot. I was trying to do a step back, and he ended up just pulling up right in the man's face. And Kawhi pulled up right in my face, but he was actually open for that. Tim Hardaway Jr. was not open for that shot, but give it a second here and a stupid defensive rotation from Paul George, and he's open for that shot. So that one works. But yeah, I left Reggie Jackson open. There's a couple of times where I will back up in anticipation of a drive, but I just way overdid it 2 times in a row. And now with Luka trying to get him to score the ball, there is a charge. Even though I have the charge turned down to like 0 because charges are garbage in this game and they never fix that. But now a dumb switch and Jackson Hayes is too late on Reggie Jackson for the contest. So Game 7 down to 12 seconds remaining. I am trying to call an isolation and my button keeps fucking it up. I am trying to call an isolation and there's 4 seconds on the clock. Oh shit, I have to take a shot and I get blocked. Can we pretend that didn't happen? Because I would like to pretend that that didn't happen. I literally had a timeout. I literally had a timeout. Luka had 59 points. Like I knew this. This is not new information to me. This is a post commentary. But fuck, he had 59 points. And that's how I ended the game. That's tragic. That is tragic. That is really, really tragic. One of the greatest playoff performances of all time, and that's the end result. As you see, the Sixers win the championship, which is going to be awkward because Ben Simmons is still on the roster, so interesting how that works. But yeah, that's it. We're going to be addressing some stuff in the offseason, so look forward to that episode the day after tomorrow. But yeah, that is it. Goodbye.